Target. Do you want to go? This is your debut and you just gonna leave us high and dry? Huh? Huh? Oh. Hot on the track?
On the chain wax? On the chain.
What the hell is the chain wax?
That's neither here nor there. Welcome everyone to the most exciting... No, it's not exciting.
What's not exciting? We're not exciting?
I don't know. That's not what I want to say.
Well, okay. I think we're exciting, but whatever.
Welcome everyone to the most exciting YouTube review show ever. Welcome to A B Convos Wrestling Edition. We have a special guest star today, our mascot, Lady Mekakiko, better known as Bone Crusher.
She is crushing my bones right now.
We will welcome her to the set. Alright guys, without further ado, let's get right into it. This week was a huge week for Monday Night Raw. Gigantic reunion special.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's always good to reminisce and see, you know, people come back that you haven't seen in a while and find out that people have left that you didn't even know left because Alicia Fox was part of the reunion.
Had no idea.
Didn't know she left.
I could have sworn
that was
I just
quiet. Right. Could have sworn I just saw her. And if you've only been gone like a month, I don't know how, I don't know if the reunion, we didn't even know you were gone. So that was a little odd. It was. I love seeing Melina. You know, she's one of my favorite all-time favorites, and I was excited to see her there. Wish that she would come back, to be honest with you.
Well, she did post to Trinity that anytime you might need a tag team partner, now or in the future, you never know, because I know Trinity was really happy to see her in person because Melina was a huge inspiration to her in her career, and we definitely felt the glow. Felt the glow.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Trin too. And then you know what, as far as, you know, bringing back DX time and time again, you know, we've seen DX so many times. You know that, you know, we knew DX would be there. We knew Hulk would be there, which is fine. You know, it was good to see Ric Flair, knowing that we haven't really seen him since he was ill, and so it was good to see him in good spirits. But Steve Austin always takes the cake. You know, he did phenomenal as he always does. You know, getting the crowd engaged. You know, the whole "we're family, your family" thing is huge. It's you know, because AEW doesn't really have that going for them, so pulling out the family stuff was, you know, it was pretty good.
Damn! That never gets old. Never gets old.
Sorry.
Damn! That never gets old, I gotta tell you. Ron Simmons, fantastic. Now, personally, I would really like to have seen Bradshaw come back, a little APA reunion.
That would have been great. Backstage
doing their thing, and then all of a sudden, Drake Maverick or whoever else, because the 24/7 title changed hands more times than I care to count, busted that up. I think there was some missed opportunities by WWE for again, nostalgia purposes. It's great to see everybody, but they could have done a few other things, you know, creative.
And Trish wasn't there at the reunion, but then she is announced as fighting Charlotte Flair at SummerSlam, which is very interesting. Like, you want to see your old wrestlers fight, but you don't really have anything invested in them actually winning. So there's not really any reason to win. It's kind of, I mean, if she's passing a torch on to Charlotte Flair, then that's cool.
Yeah, but again, I think at this point, Charlotte has pretty much well established herself. She's a multi-time champion.
Right.
Obviously, she's a Flair. She gets pushed by the company. So I don't really see this as being a passing of the torch. I don't really see this as much of anything at all, except seeing two greats. I suppose. We'll see. Hopefully, it'll be a good match.
Right.
So we'll definitely be tuning in and checking it out. Who did come back, and it was rumored he may or may not, but John Cena, he did come back, and it was good to see him. didn't necessarily love his segment. To me, I know he's off shooting different things. He was a little overacting, I felt. It was a little too cheesy. I liked the Dr. Thugonomics bit. That was kind of cool. Which, interestingly enough, he poked fun at one of the Usos for a drunken driving situation earlier in the year. Then, turns out, a couple days later, boom, right there in the papers, another incident.
Cool.
So,
Jimmy, I really hope you get the help that you need, because not only do you have kids looking up to you, you got your family depending on you, you got your wife. I mean, it's a lot more than you involved, so.
We're big fans, man.
Yeah,
so,
man, get the help you need.
Definitely take care of that, but I will say this much as well. What I thought was interesting, again, they built this as the biggest reunion in Raw history. We had John Cena come, but then John Cena went.
Right, he wasn't there at the end. You bring everybody out, and he wasn't there.
Didn't care for it.
Didn't seem like you were,
3
that excited
hours.
to be there. He said he was excited to be there as he was back in the day, but I don't think you'd have left early back in the day, so kind of a little bit of a contradiction. But I was excited to see the hurricane.
Stand back! There's a hurricane coming through.
I don't know why, but every so often, you just have people like the hurricane that I just like the hurricane. Like, it's, you knew it wasn't going to be like Brock Lesnar or Seth Rollins, who wasn't going to hold the title, but just like R-Truth and Maverick are extremely entertaining. I think that hurricane is entertaining, and I enjoyed seeing him. So
I actually really would have liked to see him take the 24/7 title at least once. But it was good to see some of the ladies take it, because there was some question about whether or not they would in fact be eligible to be champion. So I'm glad that was a non-issue this time around. Hopefully we'll continue that in the future. Who else did we see on Raw but none other than the executive director of Smackdown Live, one Mr. Eric Bischoff. Great to see him back in the WWE, getting his fingerprints all over what's going to be happening on Smackdown Live. And that leads us to...
But not this Tuesday.
No, it did not.
Because
he was there.
This Tuesday, Vince showed up right before the show started, and he rewrote the whole show. It was a good show, but it was reminiscent of the fact that we said that in the past he's been known to not hand over creative, and I don't know that it was Eric Bischoff that put that show together. I don't believe he is working creatively at that point on that aspect. I don't believe it was Eric Bischoff's work that Vince threw out and rewrote. And the show was a good show, but is he going to allow other people to come in and take creative license?
Interesting. I'll tell you, one of the things that I actually really enjoyed was the segment between Kofi Kingston and the man that he called out, Mr. Randy Orton. Now, we know, as Kofi mentioned, they do have some history, and it looks like they're about to have a little more history.
Yeah, and I appreciate Randy Orton just saying, yeah, you know what, I did, you weren't ready, and what? Like, that was cool, so.
And they broke the fourth wall, because Randy did mention Kofi's boom, boom, boom. Hey, what happened to your accent? I like that.
Always appreciate the passing of the torch. And Mick Foley passed the torch to Bray Wyatt. He did it, however, using the mandible claw, which is, let me just show you. Open?
No, that is not sanitary.
No, it's not.
That is the most unsanitary move in the WWE, next to the Sting face, which Rikishi apparently was not medically cleared to use. So, how bad is the Sting face? I don't know.
I don't even, okay. Oh.
But it's a terrible, I really liked the Mankind character, I really did, but I hate it. You got this gigantic, scary character, and you're going to use that as your finisher? I don't quite understand what's going on right now, because we have current day superstars borrowing yesteryear's superstars moves. We've got Kevin Owens doing the stunner. Now we got Bray Wyatt doing the mandible claw. I mean, I'm not really loving this whole borrowing situation.
He may have done it for that segment because in the same way that Mick Foley is passing the torch to him, he's paying homage to Mick Foley by using his move. So if he continued to do it, I would not be okay with that. But if he did it just for the return of respect, then I thought it was kind of cool in that way, even though it's a horrible move. So overall, they were both good shows. There was nothing to really complain about, except for the Braun Strowman match. I have 2 words for you.
Hated it!
When you have these huge guys fight Nolan Johnson, beat up this who looks like a kid, just throwing a kid around. There was another match last week, was it with the Viking Raiders? Where they just threw some kids around the ring. I don't even know if they were adults. It's not entertaining.
This is not the 1980s. We used to see this all the time, where you had a name wrestler go against a complete jabroni just to prove that they are big and strong and massive and whatever. It proves nothing. It's like me going to the schoolyard and beating up a little kid. Does that make me a big man? No.
And I almost understand, not I don't understand, but they do it more when they're first bringing someone out to make them look so scary. Why would you do that with Braun Strowman at this point in the game? Totally did not get that.
Deserves better.
Totally
Deserves
did not
way
get that.
better. Deserves much better, just like the Intercontinental Championship.
Right.
Okay, again, this is the IC heavyweight title. This was held by countless individuals throughout the years, and it has prestige. And to be honest with you, I think the person that last brought it that prestige was, in fact, The Miz. He really understood it. He's the one that brought back that strap that we have right now. Put it back on him.
And now they're going to fight for it on a show we've never heard of, that you have to log on to the network to see. What is that?
I don't like it. It was put on the pre-show, and now this. Again, it's not given the weight that it truly deserves.
No.
There were a few titles that we saw this past week from Impact Wrestling. Very interesting looking designs.
Very
I will have
different.
To say.
Very. I mean, I like it. I think I don't not like it. They're different. They're different.
But I'll tell you what, I think WWE needs to tap whoever made those titles so they can fix the 24/7 title.
Ugh.
They can fix both the Raw and Smackdown Live tag team titles and the women's tag team titles, because these designs are horrendous.
Right.
Horrendous. They have no idea what they're doing. They don't know how to design anything. And even though Impact Wrestling is a little different, I gotta tell you, I like it. I'm liking it.
Seems a little rough. They have no idea what they're doing. I mean, they have some nice looking belts, so clearly they know what they were doing in some aspect, but there's some things that, okay, all right.
Thank you guys for joining us once again
Thank
on another
you.
A B Convos
Wrestling Edition.
Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and notification button so you know when we're ding 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 coming at you.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Have a great week.
See you down the road.
Bye.
Okay, somebody put the camera.
Okay.